Welcome back to the Tomahawk. I'm Mike. Matt's up top. Justin's on the bottom. And we want to talk to you guys and thank you for all of the listens that we're getting. We have recently just released all of our podcasts on listening platforms: Apple, Google Podcasts, Castbox. I don't think Pandora's running yet. Spotify. So all the major podcast apps have us on there. Give us a follow. If you want to know how to get to a link, it'll be in the description before if you just want audio only. But we're going to get right into it. And also, do us a favor, give us a like and subscribe, and give us a review on iTunes. It really helps us out. So Hawks played Detroit. They got hammered 4-1, and they won tonight 4-0. And it seems to be per usual with the Hawks. They'll go out, they'll stink up the place, and then they'll come back with a pretty dominant performance. Lankinen did not play tonight. It was Subban, and he was backed up by Delia. I think that we've seen enough of Subban. It's more of the same from him. He got a shutout tonight. If he plays the next game, he's probably going to get his teeth kicked in on TV. Probably a 6-goal allow affair. But I want to see more of Delia. I don't think that we need to see any more of Subban. I mean, yeah, sure, he could play, but I think we know what we have with him. And generally speaking, I want to start off with the goaltending situation. We'll go with you, Matt. What do you think about Subban playing tonight and Delia backing him up?
I was really surprised to hear he was coming in. He played good, though. I can't really knock him. He got a shutout, but it was against the Wings. So, I mean, if he did that against like Tampa, Carolina, I'd be like, whoa, this guy, he wants this job. As for Delia, when's the last time he played? Game 1?
Yeah, game 1. So he got one shot. He let in 5 goals just like Subban.
Rusty as all hell.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you were to play him, I would rather play him against Columbus or Detroit. I wouldn't throw him right in against Nashville or even Dallas at this point. It's going to be not really a good time to experiment when you're trying to make the 4th playoff spot.
What do you think? What do you think, Justin?
I mean, I thought Subban looked decent tonight. Like you guys said, I was surprised. I think it was Tracy Myers posted this morning that this had been 10 days in the works, that they were going to give Lankinen the night off and not even dress him just so he could relax. And okay, I guess. I mean, I texted Matt right away and I'm like, what? If you're trying to make the playoffs, you're on the outside looking in at that 4th spot. Don't you got to like kind of push, right? Like, especially against Detroit. Now, granted, it worked out. Subban played great. I think the PK looked amazing because they had I think they had a couple double minors, or at least one was, I think Keith got a high stick, right?
Right.
So, I mean, they looked great, but then on the same side, I'm like, okay, well, it's Detroit. So how much does that weigh in? And then you compare it to the game before today, and they look like garbage. It's like you're losing to the Red Wings, who there's no. I didn't even realize Wes Helm was still playing when I saw him today. I'm like,
Darren Helm. I saw that
Darren
too.
Helm. I'm sorry, not Wes Helm. Darren Helm.
Yeah.
I'm like, Darren Helm is still on the team. That poor guy has been stuck in Detroit for like a decade.
Yeah.
So
2009, right? Didn't he have that amazing shift against the Hawks? That
he did. Yeah, I do
penalty kill. Yeah,
that's
the only memory I have of him.
It's like, what are we doing? I don't understand. You want to make the playoffs, but you play your backup in a game you got to win. Which again, it worked out great because he got a shutout and he looked good. And now he's got a little more confidence. Maybe that's what he was missing. But I don't even know where to go with this team. Like, I don't know what management's doing. I don't know what the coach is doing. I don't know what the players are doing at times. I'm speechless. I don't even know what to say. I was shocked that they won today. I'm happy, but I'm like, oh, it's going to be another blowout tonight. But here we are, and we're still hanging in there, just barely. But now they just got to keep Dallas, at an arm's length before they get passed up by them.
They're winning, and Nashville did lose, which helped. But if we got 4 points, I mean, we'd be right there.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not taking advantage of these teams. Yeah,
those mighty Red Wings. You got to be careful around them.
I'm not surprised, man. I was, Matt, before you got on, I was talking to Justin about this. This is right in line with what the Hawks have been doing all year. You know, they come out, they get blown out by some crappy team, and then they come out and they play against Tampa and they'll pull a win out. You know, I think that there's a lot of inconsistency going on as a whole with the team, and I think that it starts with Stan Bowman. The message is that he's setting to the players isn't of a team that's looking to make a playoff run. It's more of to stack the team for what's coming down the line. Now, that being said, as a player on the Hawks, other than, say, Patrick Kane, Alex DeBrincat, Kirby Dack, why would you want to even play your heart out? Do you know what I mean? It's like the idea behind the team and the coaching staff is we're playing hard so that we can get a playoff spot so that we can win. When you've got the GM that isn't setting the team up for success, I think that Bowman is on one side, what he thinks that he wants to do in the long term, and Colin is, he's trying to pull a rabbit out of his hat. And I know that you believe he deserves the Jack Adams Award, Matt. But
for sure after tonight,
you know what?
Started Subban. Let's just give it to him right now.
If he would have called the timeout, this game could have been 9-0. Oh, I'll tell you that right now.
9. I would have said 11. Or 12.
Oh, okay.
I would put a banner next to Phil Jackson.
Instead of a 72 win, 72.
Yeah.
Goal, I don't know, 72
Two amazing timeout calls
within a week.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately though, Eddie O wasn't broadcasting tonight, so he couldn't say how amazing of a timeout it would have been. I think that's maybe why he didn't call the timeout tonight.
Right.
And yell, too many men every time the puck hits the bench.
Yeah, no kidding.
Every time.
Yeah, I know.
Loves that.
I know he does. He always says it, and it's getting pretty annoying. But I wanted to talk about, you mentioned it, Matt. I want to talk about, I believe his name is Colby Kalinuk. Is that his name? He's on defense, number 48. Most notably, I noticed him because when Vinnie Hinostroza came back, he was wearing 28 and not his original number 48. And but anyways, this guy, every game that he's played, I think that he has been a Wyatt. Thank you. His name is Wyatt Kalinuk. And
Wyatt.
Yeah. And you know what? I've been watching The Falcon and Winter Soldier, and Wyatt, what's his name? Kurt Russell's son is in it. And whenever I think, Wyatt Russell. So whenever I think of this guy, Kalinuk, I think of Wyatt Earp for some reason. Anyways, I got that. I got that in my head. Anyways, I'm sorry. As he has played, I haven't noticed him standing out, but I haven't noticed him making very bad decisions. Where I'm like, I want to have an opinion about this guy, but I haven't seen him do anything really, really bad, and I haven't seen him do anything really, really good. Other than I think that he has a really, really good skating abilities. I think his skating's really well. He seems to be very balanced when he skates, and he moves the puck pretty well, and he's pretty confident. And tonight, I think that he had a really, really good game. There was the goal with Kaner to Kalinuk to Hinostroza back to Kane. It goes to show he jumped into the play right at the right time, and today he was playing very well defensively. I was wondering if you guys have noticed this guy or not.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking on the Game Center page, and I noticed the last two games, Colleton had him out there giving him power play time. So, I mean, they must see something, either if that's coming from Colleton or maybe that's coming from Bowman down saying, hey, we want to get a good look at this guy, put him on the power play. So that's been kind of interesting. I mean, he's getting the last two games, he got 15 minutes of ice time tonight. He got almost 20 minutes of ice time on the other day when they lost.
That's serious.
So, I mean, I guess they're giving him a good look.
I was going to say the same thing. They're giving him a look, and they're seeing if this guy's got it. I think they've given every guy a chance,
Yeah.
Mitchell, and I think this is his turn now.
Yeah. Yeah, especially with sitting Boquist and playing this kid, because notably, Boquist didn't play tonight, and they've been really pushing him. And I think that it's pretty. To be honest with you, it's a little alarming that he's out of the lineup, considering how high they've been on him and how hard that they've been pushing him. That he wasn't even down on a third line pairing. Mitchell was on that line. He played pretty well tonight too, but and Zadorov actually played pretty well. I know I'm pretty hard on him, but he played pretty well tonight. It just seems like sometimes he's got like blocks on his legs when he's trying to skate. Do you know what I mean? The rest of the team is pretty fast and agile, and he just seems like he has blocks of ice on his legs sometimes.
Hey, he's big. He's a big guy. Well, the problem with him is he gets the puck, and he, like I said in previous videos, he holds that puck too long. Like when you're in the NHL, a young guy, you get that puck, you got like 1 second to make a decision. Otherwise, you got a forechecker on you, and they're going to turn the puck over. You're going to get hit.
Right.
He's just got to make faster decisions.
Right.
That's what he's got to. That's what he really has to do.
Sure. So did anybody else see anything defensively wise that stood out to you?
Stillman looks good. I mean, granted, it's only been a couple games, but like he had a couple hits. He had 3 hits tonight. He had 2 hits the other night. I mean, like in terms of like a good physical presence, stay-at-home defenseman. I mean, I don't know. It's only 2 games. It could all go off the rails really quick, but he looks pretty good. I mean, if you have him back there, and I know Mike, I saw on Twitter, I think it was Bleacher Nation Blackhawks said that Bowman said that Zadorov probably will be back for an extended period of time with the whole RFA process. So you'll get to see him and hopefully, the red colors for quite a while going forward. But yeah, I like Stillman looks great. Like I like him. I think that's been an awesome pickup so far. I think Matt, you've been saying it too. I think the Hawks have totally won those trades so far with Florida. Hinostroza looks great. Yeah. Vinnie, that pass where he kind of did a double take back to see where Kane was that they had, and it almost was like an open net by the time he got it to Kane. Like that was awesome. So
yeah, great takeaway too.
Yeah. So no, that Stillman looks good. We'll see what happens, but that's where I'm at.
What about you, Matt?
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of those 2 trades with Florida. Vinny, what has he got, like 6 assists? I think he has.
Like that,
and I know him and Kubalik have some chemistry, but I honestly think they should give him a look with Kane. I mean, he's got speed. He can get Kane the puck, and I mean, it wouldn't hurt. I think they should give it a shot.
Offensive wise, that's where I wanted to move to, and Hinostroza was the first thing that I wanted to get on. He's been making a huge difference since game 1 being back with the Hawks. Obviously, he wants to play here. He's from the Chicagoland area, and but he's been making a huge impact with his. He's been having numerous passes that have been right on the money. Tape. I mean, the pass
3 tonight.
The pass that he had to Kane tonight was between the legs of Mark Stahl, which was pretty impressive, and Kaner had an open net. But he's been noticeably in his own end, he's been great at poke checking, playing defensively and creating opportunities. And the announcer tonight, and I'm so glad to hear this, that he mentioned Patrick Kane. Kaner had a really good stick lift and a takeaway that stopped a play dead in its tracks. It was huge, and he goes, "This is the evolution of having a complete 200-foot game." And you know what? It's about time that somebody recognizes Patrick Kane for it, because I hear in the Sun-Times, I hear in the Tribune, and I even hear our own announcers talk about Patrick Kane's offensive abilities, and nobody talks about his defensive abilities and how he has, I would say, a complete 200-foot game. Now, he's had it for, actually, I would probably say 2 to 3 years now. Patrick Kane has had a complete two-way game. I'm not saying he's really good. I'm not saying he's a Selke candidate. I'm saying that I've noticed him play defense up to about 2 to 3 years ago, playing more defense, and soundly this year, great defense. The center situation is probably the most muddled situation, I would say, on the Blackhawks. We have Kirby Dach at center, and David Kampf got his first goal of the season this year, an empty netter, and I don't even know who else is playing. Was it Suter? Okay.
Yeah.
I could have sworn they
Foley messed it up.
Okay.
Foley. Yeah.
Okay. So no, David Kampf still does not have a goal this year, but he's more of a shutdown guy, and that's fine. He played pretty well on the PK tonight, and so did Ryan Carpenter. It was a 5-on-3, and he was on the ice with I believe it was Keith and Connor Murphy. And they stopped them dead in their tracks, and put out a lot of effort tonight. But back to the centers, where do the Hawks move at center? Do you guys think that Ryan Strome is playing good enough on the wing to stay in the lineup, or should he be moved back to center? What do you guys think? Let's start with Justin.
Yeah, I for some reason I feel like they're not gonna give up on Strome anytime soon. I feel like he's so young. He has, these flashes of brilliance, and it's like, wow, he could be something. And then other times it's like, okay, maybe move him down the depth chart a little bit. But I don't know. It's so apparent, especially not having Taves out there. That I feel like center has been their gaping hole for a while, and now that's definitely an area of weakness. And I mean, like you said, give credit to Kane. I think, like you said, last couple seasons, he's really stepped up his game in terms of a defensive player too. And it's even been more amplified without having Taves out there. Like you see it right away. Like he's back checking like crazy, right? So yeah, it's been awesome to see that development. I mean, because if you would have told me even 7-8 years ago he'd be a somewhat competitive back checker, I'd have been like, you're crazy. He's not. He's gonna float at the opposing blue line back and forth until someone gets open and then just go. So that's great, but I mean, that doesn't really help the center position. So I don't know, you look at their prospects. I don't know if any of them are ready to step in right now. I don't see, do they go out and try and find somebody in the free agent market this offseason? I feel like they're going to have to, but I mean, you look at some of the free agent centers we've signed in the past, historically, it's not great. I'm reminded of like Denny Archipov was a big center acquisition one year, and Yannick Perreault. And so I'm not really
I like that one.
Yeah, he was a great defensive centerman, especially good at faceoffs. It would be like win the faceoff and get the hell off the ice. That was kind of his thing.
Maybe that's what we need.
maybe. And I mean, Kampf, I feel like you said, he's a good defensive shutdown, forward. He is like Marcus Kruger 2.0 to me, where he's not going to score at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I got so excited when I heard Foley say Kampf scored. I'm like, oh, nope, sorry, you're still at 0. Never mind.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know, Matt. I don't know. Do you have any suggestions for their center position? I don't know what to do. So,
well, I want to start with Strome.
Yeah,
I don't think we're going to have to worry about that because I think that Seattle will probably pick him because he's probably the best guy we're going to have to offer.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it might be a good thing for us. We can clear some money up and spend it on somebody else. And as for the Kane talk, I agree 100%. I've been saying it since we started this podcast. I think he's back checking like Marian Hossa used to, like full speed and not quitting on the guy, and it's paying off for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as for the centers, I still want to see more out of Kirby Dach. I mean,
yeah,
I know he's coming back from an injury, but
from a wrist injury, notably, and I'm sure that affects him at the playoff dot, at the faceoff dot.
I feel like he looks the same as he did last year. I know against when you're playing World Juniors, obviously he has NHL experience and he looked good against kids his age, but I'm waiting for him to kind of take off and take over a game.
Yeah,
he hasn't had that breakout game, let alone breakout season yet, or breakout, couple.
Yeah, it's his second year, right? I mean,
it's his second
year when it's
he had a
crazy.
He had a pretty big surgery, and he pretty much had his summer workout session, went into the World Juniors, got injured, which means that he would have been in really good game shape to start the season, and we really would have gotten a good look at him coming in. And I think that, just the off time has really stuttered him in a way.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I feel like too, I don't know if this is the team. I don't know if it's management. I don't know if it's NBC Sports Chicago, but I feel like anytime you get some young draft pick that comes up and they have any like shred of potential to have being like a breakout star, like you'd swear it was like the second coming, and that's got to weigh those guys down.
Yeah.
I mean, look at when Tavo came over, and they're like, oh, I think they kept calling him the Finnish Kane, and it's like, no, he can't live up to that in his first season. Give me a break. And I kind of feel they're doing it to Doc now too. And like you said, he's got an uphill battle between being hurt and having surgery, and it's only the second season. They don't have the greatest team in front of him.
He's 20.
So he's 20. Yeah, like I feel like they do this all the time, and it's either you get this, you're either like the second coming of Christ when you're a prospect in Chicago, or if you're Stan Bowman, you trade your top prospects like Yoki Haru and all that. But that's neither here nor there.
He's kept one. He's kept two.
It's
two
Boquist,
of his picks, right? Boquist and Doc.
Yeah.
And like you just said, do you remember when we first, like around high school?
Yeah.
Troy Brouwer. This guy was the next one. Wow, Troy Brouwer's, this guy's going to be great. And he's a third line guy his whole career. Everywhere he went, he was effective, but he wasn't he was how they made him.
He was an effective player, though,
No, he was a good role player. You need a guy like that. And I think he had some good years in, St. Louis? And then even Washington.
Calgary. I thought he played in Calgary, too, as well, didn't he?
I think he jumped all over, honestly, after his St. Louis run. Yeah, but he would, like just said, they hyped him up. I know they hyped David Bolin up, which he played for the Knights, and he had big numbers, and his numbers retired there. I think he was good.
Dave Bolin?
They called him up, and he wasn't that. Dave Bolin. He wasn't that like offensive guy like Kane. He was a shutdown guy, and he made his money doing that.
Wow.
And he was awesome at it.
So I mean, and I feel like you can already start to see it happen to Doc. Like I feel like next season, if he comes out and he might play decent, he might be more defensive. Who knows where his career is going to go? But like, are people going to start throwing around? We can toss him, we can junk him. He's not lighting up the score sheet. It's like it takes time.
Yeah.
And I mean, and then you get into that with the defensemen, and if Bowman would keep some of these defensemen around long enough to see if they grow into something, but I feel like for the most part, it's like one season or one look in Rockford, for a season, and that's it. And then they're traded for.
Yep.
I still don't understand. Granted, I don't know how Yoki Haru is doing in Buffalo. I haven't heard his name in a year now, so I don't know. But like Nylander, granted, I know Nylander's hurt and he's not coming back anytime soon. But like, I saw that trade and I'm like, why? Like, what has Nylander done prior to his time in Chicago that makes
he's not his brother either?
No, he's not. He's not his dad. That's for sure.
Not even close. Yeah.
So it's just like, and I know defensemen take longer to mature and grow into their position. Same thing with goalies, but it's like some of these forwards, you hail them, and it's like when they don't hit, they might still, like you said with Brouwer, he had a good career. He was a serviceable player, but same thing with Bolin. When you're hyped that much, you're not gonna live up to that expectation unless you're Kane. And I mean, that's a once in a generational talent.
When does that ever happen?
I don't know.
It would happen pretty much twice for us within a year.
Crosby, Ovechkin, Kane, and, I mean, you could say Taves. He was, but not as much as Kane.
Even Stamkos. Stamkos had a rough first season. That could have also been because of Barry Melrose too. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, right.
Remember when he called him out? He's not ready. He was fired, right?
Yeah.
Stamkos isn't ready. He gets a hat trick against the Hawks.
Right.
I remember that game. Yeah.
So.
He was on fire that game, man. He was skating, man. He had fire coming off of him. He was so fast.
He's got 400 goals. I'm pretty sure he's 400 goals right now, and he's
injured. He's injured again too, I heard.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if that guy could stay healthy?
Yeah.
He's he's just like another Pavel Bure.
Yeah.
He's smooth. His shot is his one-time just as good as Ovechkin.
Yeah.
It's so smooth.
Completely agree.
Yeah. So moving on, going on, have you guys seen that now that the trade deadline's over, the guys are going to start getting settled into their new positions? Is there anything that's standing out right now that when the season is over, you want to see the Hawks do, like maybe a move you want them to make?
I'm sure. I don't know how Matt feels, but I want if you're gonna roll with Lankinen, that's fine. But I want a veteran backup. No more of this if that means, I guess, I don't know, is Subban technically a veteran at that point? Is his third season? No, I wouldn't say so. And then I feel like you're shortchanging Delia too, because he's never even got a shot. But I want somebody that when they come in, there's a 3/4 of a chance that, hey, they could steal the game, right? Like, I mean, you look at like Toronto, they had Anderson and Campbell. And Campbell, you at least felt comfortable. Granted, he's having an amazing season, so maybe this is a bad example, but you at least feel comfortable when your backup comes in. When Subban comes in, I have no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, if he's on, he looks great. And maybe his confidence is all he needed, and he's got that tonight. But then you see, like, they ran a stat today on the telecast. It was like he's given up, I think 3 5-goal games or 4 5-goal games. And it's like, if that's your backup, that's got to be infuriating to the team in front of you, right? Because it's like, if we don't play perfect and if we don't get out to like a 3 or 4 goal lead by the third period, this game's going to be lost immediately.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think a veteran backup would be great. Centers, they got to add more. You can't have just Doc, especially if Taves is an unknown quantity at this point. I mean, if he's not doing so hot, I totally understand. He's got nothing to prove. He's had an amazing career, so I give it all up to him there. I mean, in terms of wingers, I guess your wingers are okay. I'd like another defenseman that has more leadership. I heard supposedly that they said that I know we talked about Strome being one of the guys that could be left off for Seattle, but then I also heard DeHaan might be somebody that they let go to get picked up too. So, I mean, not that he's a rock star, but he's at least been a somewhat not even a mainstay, but he's been somewhat of a relaxing, voice back.
Better
than
Strome. I'd rather have DeHaan.
Yeah, me too. So
I third that.
They have so many positions where they can improve upon. Whether or not they're going to, I don't know. I mean, depending on the salary of who's coming back from injury or not, that could be a big play too to see what's going to happen with that too. So, yeah.
What do you think, Matt?
Well, as for the backup position, I don't think there's many Ray Emerys out there anymore. That guy was freaking lights out with the Hawks. That is what a backup does. He goes in and he sits a lot, but when he's in, he's going to win. And man, that guy was on, and man, he should have. That's like MVP like too. I think he was 20? Was he 19-0 or something?
Like that. And that's got to be so hard for you. Play maybe once a week, once every week and a half, and then you just
was great. He was. But I don't know if there's any like backups out there.
Not like that. No.
Yeah, we need another Jeff Hackett.
Oh, jeez, yeah. Well, I think for me it's defense first. I think a stay-at-home guy that isn't thinking about offense, because I know the new NHL, the new thing is two-way defensemen. They want guys jumping in the play, and some guys aren't made for that. Like Zadorov, he's not going to be a goal-scoring guy like Keith was, and Brian Campbell.
He's got a good shot, though. I mean, he's got a heavy shot.
Yeah, he does. But I think we need, like I've been harping on this all, Mark Stahl, guys like that, Savard, just guys that will, block shots and just steady in their own zone. We got too many guys that just want to get the puck and go. Bodequist, we got Mitchell, Keith. Keith is driving me nuts lately. The way he's getting old. He shouldn't be making these same mistakes. And unfortunately, he doesn't have Seabrook to back him up anymore.
Yeah,
because he was the smart and slow, and Keith was the stupid and fast. And now we just have stupid and fast. We don't have
a lot of it.
And we got to find guys that are going to do that.
Yeah,
I agree, man.
I don't know. Yeah, they're at a crossroads.
I think that the center position and defense is probably something that really needs to get addressed this offseason, especially with the uncertainty of what's going to happen with Taves. We need a reliable center, at the bare minimum, a good second line center, and a solid defenseman with good skating ability who doesn't want to score 30 goals a year,
And a GM.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to happen.
That knows how to draft and keep his draft picks.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Kirby Doc. I think he's got tons of potential, but Bo Byram was available, and Colorado is going to have that guy for a long time.
Him and Cale Makar, can you imagine having them together?
Yeah, I mean, you never know what's going to happen, man. When it comes to the draft. I mean, Ryan Strome was drafted third, and Jonathan Taves was drafted third. You can't really, you just don't know what you're going to get. Look at in the example of even Quinn Hughes. Quinn Hughes is playing phenomenal. What was he drafted at? Wasn't he drafted in the mid first round?
That might be right. Let's see here.
Well, you don't really see a defenseman getting drafted first anymore.
Right.
No.
You don't see a lot of them, and I think we messed that one up, honestly.
He was 7th overall in 2018, Quinn Hughes.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, even so I'm looking up right now, upcoming free agents out of the top 30, the first couple that were defensemen that I could find. All right, yay or nay, Dougie Hamilton. Would you guys take Dougie Hamilton? Nay? All right. What about Slim Pickens after this? Hold on.
Wow.
We got
wow. Slim after...
all these are all forwards. What about Tyson Barrie? Would you take Tyson Barrie? I don't think he's having that good of a year in Edmonton, right? Since he left Toronto. All right. After that, it drops down to, let's see, David Savard. He's going to be 30. He's got 4.25 this year. So I figure maybe 5.5 would probably get him
if he doesn't resign.
If he doesn't resign, yeah.
Montour, right?
You got Montour, and then you got Ryan Murray is another one.
His name has been in rumors all the time with the Hawks. I feel like every trade deadline, Ryan Murray to the Hawks, Ryan Murray, and you don't hear much about him.
This defensive free agent class is not looking good. We got Brandon Montour, Alex Goligoski, Alec Martinez. No.
Yes.
You take Alec Martinez?
No.
Yes, I would. Yes.
I liked him in LA. I don't know. I haven't followed his career since he left LA that much.
He's in Vegas, right?
Okay. That sounds right.
I think he's in Vegas. He's a solid, steady guy, and that's what we need. We don't need these offensive guys.
A few other more off the top of my head that I'm looking. I see Sami Vatanen, Eric Gustafsson, which we already had, and they let him go.
Gustafsson is going to be a free agent?
He's going to be a free agent, yeah.
Wow, I'm surprised.
Montreal.
I was happy when he left.
He got traded recently too. Yeah.
Yeah.
He got traded. So yeah, there's not much.
What about centers?
Centers. All right, hold on. Let me tell you. We got. Let's see, centers. None of this is organized by position. Their 7th top pick, according to the Hockey News, is Philip Deneau, which seems kind of. Would you take him? Center. David Krejci, but he's 35. I don't know if I'd want him at this point. Ryan Getzlaf?
No.
No.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
Paul Stastny? Oh, these guys are all in their upper 30s at this point. Man, that's depressing. There's not many centers either that look too... Scott Lofton? Does that sound right?
No.
I think he's in Philly, or he was in Philly. I think he got traded, didn't he?
No, he re-signed 5 years.
Oh, did he? Okay.
I'm pretty sure he did.
What about Tyler Bozak?
Is he with the Blues?
I think he's still with the Blues, yeah. I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah, free agent class doesn't look that good.
Well, Taylor Halt, or do they have him down as a wing?
Oh, yeah, they have him down as a wing.
What did he ever play center?
I think he did, but no, he's more of a winger.
Right.
I think he's on the wing with the guy you just said on Boston, Krejcik.
Okay.
Yeah.
David
Krejci. He scored every game for Boston.
Right. They said, I saw a stat. It said Buffalo, 37 games, 2 goals. Boston, 3 games, 2 goals.
He signed the dotted line. He knew he was going to play in Buffalo. It's not like we put a gun to his head. Hey, you're playing in Buffalo. And he signed there, so he's got no one to blame but himself for that.
Well, cool, guys. What else you guys got?
I got Marlowe is actually playing. I'm not sure what number, but I know he's tied with Gordie Howe in games played, which is pretty impressive for a guy who pretty much spent his whole career with the Sharks. I give him credit. I know he went to Toronto for a couple of years, but I like him. He's a good player. Seems like a classy guy.
Yeah, he
might be nice to see him get a cup, but I don't think it's going to happen.
1,767th game.
Yeah, I wonder how many with the Sharks. It's got to be what do you? What did he play? 3 years or 2 years in?
2 years, I want to say, in Toronto, right? And then they traded him. Where did they trade him to? They traded him to Carolina. That's right. Yeah.
Got bought out or something, I think, and he didn't. He went signed with the Sharks, I think.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So,
which I would have never got rid of him in the first place. He was heart and soul guy. I would have, take care of Dougie. What's his name? Dougie Wilson.
Wilson, yeah.
He's done a lot of questionable things in the last couple of years. I thought letting Pavelski go for another forward that plays defense, Carlson, will get you 50 points, but he's minus 50, so it's kind of pointless.
Yeah.
And they paid him, 13.9
Wow.
million.
Yeah, that's going to come back to bite him.
And you traded away your heart and soul captain. I don't know. I don't get some GMs.
I don't think Carlson's worth $13 million.
No.
He's not anymore, even.
No. For what he's doing, the best defenseman on that team is Burns. That guy can two ways, and he's just a good defenseman.
Unless he's scoring like 75 goals, I don't think any defensive player should get paid 14 million.
A couple years ago about him, I think he was in the running for the Hart against Kane, maybe, and Foley was like, "How can you give a guy an MVP when he's minus 20? I mean, he has a lot of points, but he's not playing his position.
Yeah.
He's a forward. That's all he is."
Yeah. I'm not a fan. I never have been. I think Joe Pavelski is a great player. I can't believe Doug Wilson let him go number one. But he's been their GM for what, man? How long has it been? 10 years? 12 years?
A long time. He traded for Thornton, right, Just? I'm pretty sure.
Yes, he's been their GM since I think 2003.
Holy smoke!
So I mean, we're going 20 years.
18 years. Wow.
Yeah. No cups.
No cups. I can't believe he's had the job for that long.
Yeah. Well, now that they're kind of hitting rock bottom, so to speak, I'll be curious to see if they switch it up, change things up, or if they keep rolling with him because he's been around for so long. I don't know. I feel like you get to that point where you're almost a mainstay in the organization, and everyone's afraid to make that big of a decision to remove you. We'll see what happens though. But.
Yeah.
Remember what he did to the Hawks after 2010? That offer.
With Chalmerson? Yeah.
And I think that was all strategy. He knew the Hawks were going to match him, and he was all over Niemi after that. And Niemi played good for those guys. I think they made the West Finals, right? A couple times with Niemi.
Sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Niemi had like 3 good seasons there.
He was very much like, as quick as he was on the scene, I feel like he was gone.
Yeah.
Like there wasn't, I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I read something saying after the Cup, the 2010 Cup, he wanted like 9 years with the Hawks at like $3.9 million. I read.
Wow.
Bowman was like, no, we're not going to do that. And they didn't even. I mean, I would have gave him a year of something, like kind of like a bridge deal. Like, let's prove it.
He won. Yeah. So, I mean, so for him, is that because of how good of a defense he had in front of him? Because then when he went to San Jose, he was decent, but he wasn't as good as he was that first year.
Well,
yeah,
Hawks defense was otherworldly.
Yes, that season, yeah.
Actually, man, all Cup runs, their defense was really good.
It's huge.
He was responsible for that. Him and Bufflin for that Sharks series.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Buff was great. That Vancouver series was a freaking shootout. I don't think it would have mattered who was in net. It's last goal wins. At that point, we were high scoring. Kane had some great games, and even the Sedins. I mean, they were putting points up against the Hawks, and I just missed those times. It was a great rivalry, and I could talk about that for hours and hours. Vancouver and Hawks.
Yeah, that was a good rivalry. The thing about it is like you didn't even see it coming. It just happened naturally. And it's like another series against Vancouver. Here we go.
That what was that? 2009. I remember Buff kind of ran Luongo, and instead of stopping, he gave him a jab right to the head, and all hell broke loose. The Hawks were getting smoked in the game, but I remember Burroughs grabbed Keith, pulling his hair, eager win. Yep. Kevin Biesca, and you had Burish going back and forth with somebody else, and it was just an all-out war. And I feel like that started it, kind of like the snowball effect.
Right.
Every game. And then you had Andrew Ladd knocking Kessler out with a good one shot to the face, and it was awesome.
Well, and that's what drives me nuts is the NHL tries to force these rivalries by, like, when they were tweaking the divisions a little bit and, like, changing everything up. It's like these things are going to happen organically. You can't just say, oh, you guys are in the same division, you have to be rivals now. It doesn't work that way, right? Like, if you look at the Central Division, I don't care what Minnesota does. I mean, granted, they're getting pretty good now, but I wouldn't consider them a rival. Now, I know the North Stars were, but that was a little bit before my time, so I can't really comment on that. But it's like when you have a couple playoff series and it gets pretty, Game
violent, sevens.
That's how Game sevens. That's how the rivalries build, and that's how the fan bases, grow to hate each other. There was a period of time. It's like, I remember I had a student wear a Canucks jersey, and I'm like, why are you wearing this? I was like, who put this up to you? Or who did this to you? And he's like, I think they're a good team. I'm like, you realize you're in Chicago, right? And that was like the heat of the rivalry.
Were you like, do you want to know what you did on your test?
Yeah.
Fail.
Yeah. Find a better team, so. But yeah.
Well, cool, guys. That was a good time. So anyways, everybody, do us a favor. Give us a like. Give us a comment. Let's talk hockey in the comments. And we really appreciate everybody listening. And we'll be back right after this 3-game series against Nashville. It's going to be huge. If we can get all 6 points from this, it would be absolutely huge. And we'll see where we're at after this series. But until then, we'll see you guys around. This is the TomaHawk, and we're out.